A wife noticed her husband's distance.
Did I do something wrong?
I'm practicing for when you leave.
The ending has been decided.
She noticed the distance before she understood the reason for it. "You've been so cold lately," she said one morning, standing in the doorway while I tied my shoes. Did I do something wrong? I didn't look up. I already knew the answer to that question, and so did she. "I'm just getting used to what's coming," I said. "Practice." Her smile faded. She laughed nervously, like people do when they're hoping a joke will save them. "Practice for what?" "For when you leave." The mug slipped from her hand and shattered on the floor. Coffee spread across the tiles, dark and messy, just like the truth she'd been avoiding. She stared at the broken pieces, then at me, waiting for anger, for drama, for proof that I was still blind. I just stepped around the mess, picked up my keys, and walked out the door. What she didn't know was that I'd already spent 4 months preparing for that moment. 4 months of watching patterns, 4 months of documenting lies. 4 months of choosing silence over confrontation because silence makes people careless. I'm not loud by nature. I never have been. I build things slowly. I notice details. That's how I built my business from nothing. That's how I supported our life. And that's how I recognized when my marriage started rotting from the inside. The late nights that didn't line up, the trips that made no sense. A phone always face down, smiles that arrived late and left early. I didn't accuse her. I didn't check her phone. I hired someone who knew how to turn suspicion into proof. By the time she started asking why I felt distant, I already had a folder thick enough to end everything cleanly. The email I told her to check that morning wasn't a threat. It wasn't emotional. It was factual, dates, times, photos, receipts, messages she thought were gone. A timeline that didn't argue, didn't exaggerate, didn't forgive. She called me before noon, crying, panicked, asking how long I'd known. "Long enough," I said. That night we sat at the same table where we'd once planned vacations and birthdays. Now it held documents instead of dinner. She tried to explain. Tried to blame loneliness. Tried to say it didn't mean anything. I listened without interrupting. When she finished, I told her the truth. "It meant something the moment you chose it over honesty." She asked if we could fix it. I told her no. Not because I hated her, not because I wanted revenge, but because I had finally accepted that love doesn't survive contempt, and trust doesn't survive repetition. The separation was quiet. No shouting, no social media drama. Just paperwork and consequences. Accounts were already secured. Assets already protected. She was shocked by how prepared I was. "I didn't think you had this in you," she said once. "You never looked," I replied. Friends took sides. Some thought I was cruel for being so calm. Others thought I was heartless for not fighting harder. None of them understood that fighting would have required me to care about winning her back. I didn't. I cared about ending something broken without destroying myself in the process. Weeks passed. Then months. The house felt lighter, quieter, honest. I slept better. I ate better. I thought clearly for the first time in years. She struggled. The man she risked everything for disappeared when reality arrived. The life she imagined collapsed under the weight of actual responsibility. We spoke once more briefly, to finalize things. "You really practiced leaving?" she said softly. "No," I said. "I practiced letting go." There's a difference. People think strength looks like confrontation, like raised voices and dramatic exits. Sometimes it looks like restraint, like patience, like waiting until you no longer need to convince anyone of your worth. I didn't destroy her life. I simply stopped protecting her from the truth. And in doing that, I saved my own. If this story resonated with you, let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching, and remember to subscribe for more content like this.